Welcome back to Crocheting 101, where I teach the girlies and whoever wants to learn how to crochet. I heard y'all looking for hobbies for 2026, and look no further. Today we're going all the way back to the basics, so if you're a beginner, grab your hook and let's get started. Here's the yarn that I would recommend for beginners. I love Big Twist yarn. I think it's super easy to work with, but these labels, yeah, they tell you everything you need to know. First, they have the recommended hook size, which can vary depending on the project that you're doing, but is helpful if you're brand new. And it tells you how many you need for certain projects, which I love. Now, the only other thing you need is a hook, and it really doesn't matter which one you choose. When I first started, I just used these basic metal ones that are really affordable, so I highly recommend these. And then once you get the hang of it and start crocheting more often, you'll definitely want an ergonomic one. I promise you will have not turned back. But if you're just starting, I recommend just a basic one that's either 4.5 or 5 millimeters. Okay, next tip when you're crocheting, you want to find the center pull of the yarn. The Big Twist yarn makes it super easy to find, but it's just this little tail that's sticking out of the end, and the reason why you pull it out of the middle is so that your yarn isn't just tumbling around while you're working. Now moving on to the first skill you need to know when crocheting, and that's how to do a slip knot. Now I'm right-handed, so I have the short side of the yarn on the left and the long side on the right. Then I'm just going to take 2 fingers on my left hand and I'm going to lay the yarn across like this. Hold that yarn tail down with your thumb, and then we're going to wrap it around our fingers so that we have an X in the front and parallel lines in the back. Then I just use my ring finger to kind of hold that down, but it should look like this, an X in the front and parallel lines in the back. Again, I'm holding that yarn tail down with my thumb, and then from there we're going to take our hook, go under the first loop and over the second one, then grab the yarn with your hook and pull it under that first loop. From there, just carefully slide the yarn off your fingers and pull it tight. And now you've created your first slip knot. Next, just grab the short yarn tail and pull it tight so that the yarn is snug to your hook. And now we're ready to work on the next skill of crocheting, which is creating a chain. Now, I am not the person to teach you how to hold your crochet hook because I hold mine like a maniac, but this is the part where you just need to practice and find what's comfortable for you. But the way you hold your yarn in your left hand is really important when keeping a consistent tension, so let me show you how I do it. You can kind of see how I did it there in slow motion, but basically I just grab the yarn with my 3 fingers, wrap my index finger around the yarn, and then I pinch where I'm working with my middle finger and my thumb. But once again, that's just personal preference and how I like to hold it, but I do find that it helps with my tension. Now, we're taking this series very slow, so today we're only going to learn how to do a chain, and I want you to practice it and perfect it so that you're comfortable with holding your hook. Now, all I'm doing here is wrapping the yarn around my hook, and then I'm just going to pull it through the loop that's already on the hook. So let me zoom in so I can show you guys up close and personal. So again, we are wrapping the yarn around our hook, then pull it through the loop that is already on the hook. One thing I want you guys to notice, and something that I see a lot of beginners mess up, is the tension. See how the yarn is really snug to my hook? You want to make sure it's not too loose to where your hook is just slipping out, but you also want to make sure it's not too tight to where it's hard to pull the yarn through. And again, this just takes practice. It took me forever to get my tension down, but what you're looking for is a little braid. So I'm just going to continue to create this chain, and I want you guys to, again, practice this until you have a solid braid. If it doesn't look like something you would wear in your head, try again. But if you follow along with this series, you will have created your very first book sleeve, all while learning the basic stitches and everything you need to know to crochet. Now, if you want to skip ahead, then check out my Crocheting 101 series. But as always, let me know if y'all have questions, and I'll see you in part 2.